and get this party started. Nice. All right. Good to go. Going to start us off with the trade here. I'm looking at you, Dollar Swiss. I'm already in a trade this morning on short on the pound, but I do like this one. I've been kind of watching the Dollar Swiss. You can kind of see here it's just now breaking above a nicely formed trend line right in through here. Here, let me bring this down a little bit. Yeah, right in through here we got kind of a perfectly formed trend line that it's breaking up above. I like this one because of the, not a huge amount of risk on it. So I'm going to go ahead and start us off. We got the LP trend line moving up. It's at a +5. It's breaking out into a high. I'm going to go ahead and start us off with a buy here on Dollar Swiss. Buy at the market. Looking for a little bit of a dollar reversal today. There's not much going on in the global stock markets. So buy entry, market. Really tight risk on this one. You can see how much support there was right down here below the 9,600 level. You see how it came down below 9,600, formed this nice little candle right in here with a huge amount of buying pressure, and it's now breaking up above a trend line. It seems like we're experiencing some dollar strength. I'm already in a dollar strength trade, but it's on the pound, and it's from yesterday. It's been kind of hovering. I'm not too concerned about kind of mix it or doubling down on dollar strength here, just because the pound has not been one of those that has been that has correlated highly to other currency pairs. So I mean, it's not a perfect correlation. So even though I'm short the pound and going short the Swiss, I'm not too concerned about the correlation of basically shorting two European currencies, because I think these both would have a shot. I'm going to put my stop right down below the swing low, 0.95971. That's going to be 30 pips away. It's going to be right down below this low, right down in here. And for this one, if we're risking 30 pips, I think we can look for a 1 to 1.5. So I'm going to put my limit at 0.96721, which is roughly 45 pips away, which is just below the resistance up in here and below the 9,700 level, and see if we can't give this one a shot to reach some profitability. So go ahead and bring this up a little bit, and I'll talk about the pound trade that I'm in. You should be familiar with it because it's one that we covered yesterday during class and yesterday afternoon that we were looking for in the retracement on the pound. So I got my stop right below here. So my stop, 0.95971. So I got it 30 pips away. And I got my limit right up in here at 0.96721 for 1 to 1.5 risk reward. I like the way that it was kind of diverged, even though it was making a slight little downtrend in here. I like the fact that it had a large amount of support and that it was kind of making this divergence on the LP trend line going up, and that it did in fact break through that trend line. So I mean, things kind of measure up on this dollar Swiss. So I like that one. I mean, I think we've seen the dollar kind of consolidate versus a lot of these currency pairs overnight. So I think that's actually been a pretty good sign for us on this particular trade anyway. And we're up a whole 10 cents right now, so woohoo! So I'll go ahead and file that one away under dollar strength. And I'll switch gears here and I'll go over here to the pound. The pound is one, and it's really hasn't done anything since I've gotten into it. I'm down, what, 10 pips on it right now. The pound is one, and I'll have to go to the 4 hour to show you, overall what the thought process was here. I had already been stopped out once this week on the pound, and we were waiting for it to come down on the hourly and make a close. And here, let me zoom in a little bit. It was starting to turn here. It made a close. It went -5 right down in here. I mean, I was looking at this more from a support and resistance standpoint, but made a close beneath that 78.6 level. Phil, I saw your email right before class started. Close beneath 78.6 right here. Everything was kind of looking negative here. I had my stop over the swing high. It was roughly 50 pips away. It came up, almost stopped me out, came back down to where, I'm really hovering here, near my break-even levels. I moved my stop. You can see here I moved my stop just above this swing high. So I moved it down a bit. My stop's right now right above this swing high at 1.44092, roughly 35 pips for my entry. And I still have my take profit 50 pips away. I was risking 50 to make 50. So I still have my take profit 50 pips away at 1.43242. This is one that we'll just have to see. It's just one of those that we'll just have to check out here. But this is a trade that we had, one of the opportunities that we had from yesterday. And so I went ahead and just followed, what my game plan was from yesterday of shorting this if it broke down on that 78.6. And it started to hover. The other thing that I liked about this is this thing started to turn and consolidate. And when it did break down below the 78.6, you can see it formed some support right down in here. So it started to make, lower highs in here in a horizontal support level, and then broke down through there, and then broke down through the 78.6. So I felt last night that I had enough working for me on this trade to give me some probability. Much like that dollar Swiss, I think I have some things working for me on that one to where it made it a pretty good candidate for a trade. Not a huge amount of correlation between dollar Swiss and pound dollar, and for that matter, euro dollar and pound dollar lately anyway. So pound's been kind of one of those currencies that's kind of moved to the beat of its own drum, if you will, over the long term. So still sticking with that one. If you're in it right now, then you're probably still in it, and you should probably know that I'm in it. If you're not, I would just if you're not, dollar Swiss is the opportunity that I'm looking at here right at the start of class. So that's my store, and I'm sticking to it. Looking around the horn here, let me just I'll turn this back into euro dollar here and kind of take a look at what's happening overall with the dollar and with the other currencies. I can go ahead and take some of those Fibonacci properties and everything off that chart. We can see the euro dollar has done the same thing as Swiss. Swiss didn't make quite as like a double bottom formation. The euro dollar's made a double top. We're already long dollar Swiss. There's no need to look at the euro dollar for an opportunity. But you can see dollar Swiss is breaking up above a trend line. At the same time, we have the euro dollar over here, that's made a nice little uptrending move, and it made this double top formation right here. You got the little trough in the middle, a little double top formed right in here, and it's looking as if it's coming down to to potentially break that double top. No need to even look at that one for an opportunity if you're already long dollar Swiss. If this comes down and breaks that double top formation, already the two currencies that we do know are highly correlated to one another is dollar Swiss and euro dollar. So there's no need to really double up on your risk there. But you can see yesterday we had some dollar weakness, and since then things have been kind of turning a little bit and consolidating. So the potential there is, I think there's potential here today to actually look for, obviously both trades I have on are focused on dollar strength. So I do think there's opportunities today to look for the potential of a dollar reversal. If you're wondering as far as global markets go, the global markets have not done much at all. Global markets are mixed. I mean, there's really not a huge amount of volatility in either one, in any one market. If I go here to Yahoo Finance and just take a look at what's happening around the board, you can see the futures haven't moved all that much. They've gone from unchanged to being up slightly, so it's not a huge volatility day in the U.S. stock markets. Asia was mixed. Shanghai stocks were down 2%. Nikkei was up barely 0.19. Hang Seng in Hong Kong, that was up about 1%. Again, nothing really shaking out there. I mean, Shanghai could be a little concerning, being down 2%. That's kind of a big percentage move. European stocks, though, there wasn't any carryover from anything happening in China because, you had the U.S., the stocks overseas, the FTSE's only down about 0.3, DAX is up 0.16. I think this measures out to, really not a whole lot of volatility occurring right now. And then U.S. futures kind of just oscillating back and forth between being down slightly and unchanged. So, nothing really concerning there from a global market standpoint, and nothing that's showing a huge amount of volatility. Only key news really from overnight, when you look at just the scheduled news announcements, the employment report came out in Great Britain at 4:30 a.m. That was actually negative on the pound, 6.7 rise of 6.7 on their claimant count. The expectation was a negative 11.9. So, that came out way below expectations, and they actually adjusted the previous number down also, and average earnings came out less than expected at 1.8 versus the 2.1 expected. Nothing really coming out of the ECB. The ECB, the Euro has their interest rate announcement tomorrow. And nothing new coming out of the ECB announcement. I'm not really looking at the ECB as far as looking at any potential trade opportunities around the ECB tomorrow. We've already kind of had the big ECB announcement that we've been looking for. Their interest rate announcement is tomorrow. I think you can expect some dovishness out of Draghi, especially since the euro is appreciated in value. That's something that they certainly don't like as far as the euro goes. They're not big fans of anything that appreciates on the euro. So I think they'll still stay with more of a dovish stance in the market. They've already kind of dropped or fired off the bazooka as far as extending their QE program, both in time and raising their asset purchases to like 85 billion a month at 85 billion euros. So we can lean to more dovishness from Draghi. He's probably not going to say. I think one thing that you can count on when it comes to Draghi is he's probably not going to come out and say anything positive about the euro. In fact, I would think with the ECB interest rate announcement tomorrow that that one of the reasons why I kind of like long on dollar Swiss and even short on euro dollar, if you're not in that trade yet, is because of the fact that you could see the euro dollar kind of depreciate a little bit, as traders do expect a little bit more dovishness coming out of the European Central Bank. So going a little bit more around the horn here, some of the ones that we were looking at yesterday, like on Cad Yen and Aussie Yen, New Zealand Yen, we've been looking at some of these commodity yen crosses for more risk-on type of trades in the market. I'm going to switch these over real quick just so you can kind of look at what the commodity currencies have done versus the dollar. Let me bring up Aussie, New Zealand, and CAD and kind of zoom in on them here. On these, the yen had been getting weaker. In fact, you can kind of see the yen actually was making some, it was getting weaker. Dollar was weak versus across the board, except for the yen. It started getting stronger versus the yen earlier in the week. We did get a little bit of a sell-off yesterday on the dollar yen to where it came down. You can see it formed this little head and shoulders pattern right in through here. that could have given you a sell opportunity at like the 109 level for maybe a quick little buck here or there. And now it's coming back up. Asian stocks started to sell off, and we had some stock, and the stock market started to stabilize and come slightly back up to the upside. So dollar yen's been coming back up, and the commodity currencies versus the dollar, like dollar CAD, Aussie, and New Zealand. New Zealand's dropping a bit, giving away to a dollar strength a little bit more than the others. Those have kind of been consolidated. When it comes to looking at these, we've been looking more so at the crosses. That's why I had the Cad Yen on there. Kind of looking for more potential when it came to more risk-on scenarios in the market, meaning looking at the commodity currencies versus the yen. You can see that there's not a huge change between those and the dollar. The only real opportunity that you could have seen last night is if you would have doubled up. Like, we were looking for possible momentum plays here on the Cad Yen. In fact, let me go ahead and pull that up here on the other screen. You can kind of look at all three of those. There we go. Let me pull up Cad Yen, and I'll pull it up on this screen right here. We were looking for potential momentum plays, and it broke out into a high here and never went higher. It came down. I mean, it extended a huge amount of its range in this, and yesterday afternoon I basically said, if you're not in this one already, stay out of it. If you're in it, it's not a bad trade, because I thought Cad Yen had some further room that it could move to the upside, but it's really just been consolidated since then. We were looking for potential retracement trades on the crosses, and we got a little touch and close off the 78.6 overnight, to where if you would, that was one of our other trade opportunities from yesterday. You can kind of see if things are still pointing up there on Cad Yen, and you could have been in a buying position there on Cad Yen. Should you have taken that trade on the touch and close, you would have reached max profit. Zooming in a little bit on these and just kind of going through the other commodity currencies. This is another one that we were looking for a retracement opportunity, to where you could have gotten a touch and close off the 78.6 on the Aussie yen. The only thing is, I think if we would have gone from the swing low, I'm not sure if it went down below by 1 pip. It would have been really close to coming down and breaking down below this swing low. That actually would have been a pretty good opportunity also there on Aussie yen. Things are kind of pointing up there also. And then the other one that we were looking at was New Zealand yen. And these swing lows, to where it kind of made that same little 78.6% retracement, only it didn't come off as well. It didn't bounce off as well off that 78.6 level. On both Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, we didn't really get any momentum plays, and this one's kind of starting to turn down a little bit. I would think if you're looking at any type of plays here, the one that probably looks the most attractive here from a momentum standpoint would still be here on Aussie yen. Okay, let me just zoom in a little bit here and take some of these Fibonacci properties off the chart. There we go. See, it came down to the 78.6 off these swing lows right over in here, and it's made some headway to the upside. You know, they're a little bit range bound. You know, commodities, oil's down today, so commodities, you know, the CAD sold off a little bit in the last couple of hours. But on this one right in here on Aussie yen, you know, we got our little retracement, but it's still been pretty range bound right in through here. So now that it's kind of made a higher low, if you will, you can see that it's kind of hitting its head right up in here off this resistance level. Kind of zoom out a little bit, and I'll bring this over. Everything's still kind of looking on the up and up here on Aussie yen, to where you know, if you look at it from a yen standpoint and from an Aussie standpoint, you know, it did sell off a little bit right in here. Here was our retracement, but it's still, you know, it's still looking pretty strong for as far as if you're using PitView on the LP trend line as far as the averages. Let's see here. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. I was looking through these highs right in through here for potential momentum plays, and I still like the risk on scenarios, but I'm going to stick with Aussie Yen for more of a momentum standpoint, because I saw it come up and it's since been kind of bouncing off this little resistance level, mainly because you know, markets are not showing a huge amount of volatility, so commodities aren't moving a huge amount, but I still like this one to the upside. I still think there's potential there on the upside, especially the fact that it made that resistance level right in through here. And if it can come down, and you know, it's pushing off of it right now. But this is another one that, much like dollar Swiss that we were looking at earlier, I think has the potential for to make some further strides here, and with small amounts of risk that would have to be put up in the market. So a buy entry, I'm going to look for a close above this resistance level. And if you're using PitView, you'd want to be looking at the 1 hour totals at a +5. It's already gone positive, so you just want it to maintain that that buying potential. The stop, I don't think it's necessary to put a stop way down in here. The stop, you can look at where the swing low is off these bounces right in through here. In this case, I think all you need to do is just put your stop at 85.179. And since this is a momentum play, I would look for a limit of 1-to-1 risk reward, since we're just looking at a momentum play there on Aussie Yen. There we go. You can call it momentum. It is a momentum opportunity. Resistance break. Bring some of these down. There we go. Long-term bearish Gartley got stopped out on that pound. Let's see, am I close to being stopped out again? No, not yet. So Swiss is doing well though, so that's good. Pound is still not moving. Yen's making a little bit of movement here. Commodity crosses are moving just a little bit. So it's kind of going to be a bit of a quick little trade class this morning, because I don't want to go crazy when it comes to my opportunities here today. You can already see, you know, I'm long dollar Swiss. I'm short pound dollar. So I don't think it's necessary to go in and start, you know, and then looking at like Aussie Yen, I still do like those yen crosses, if you will, for momentum plays and retracement plays also. One thing I forgot to add is, you know, if we see any type of retracements back to the downside, whether it be Cad Yen, Aussie Yen, or New Zealand Yen, New Zealand's kind of interesting when you look at it. If you looked at this, it's more of the, now this is where kind of the breakout occurred here, and this was a nice little swing low. You can see here on New Zealand, it's got a nice little ABC pattern working from this swing low right in through here. And this would be a nice swing low. You can see there's like a horizontal support level here at that swing low. This one's got a nice little ABC forming. So that's what they were talking. I had a student email me and I didn't see it at first, but yes, there is an ABC pattern there. So from a retracement standpoint, New Zealand may not be a bad little choice there. As far that would probably, out of all the retracement opportunities, if the commodity currencies do retrace, that'd probably be the one that looks the most attractive. Single bar touch and close off 78.6. Actually, we usually do T and C, and +5 on the 1 hour T. Put our stop. Single bar just means we just need one candle to come up and close off of it, 75.487 as far as the stop. And limit 1:1 risk reward. Limit 2, 1 to 1.5 risk reward. Wouldn't be a bad little play there. In fact, I like that one. Well, I like Gartley's in general, but especially when they're looking at in the direction of where my view is. Potential bullish Gartley is what we should call it. We're going to focus more on trading strength into the US dollar and still looking at the commodity yen crosses. So obviously, you know, that's where we stand right now. Still making some upside potential on Swiss. Once again, I know I showed that pound. You know, the pound, I'm not too crazy about that short on the pound. That's why I moved my stop on that. Somebody had asked, you know, so short pound, long Swiss. No. At this point, if you weren't already short the pound, this is a trade from yesterday. So if you weren't already short on the pound, the only dollar play you'd want to be making today, and I'm sorry if I wasn't clear on this, was the only dollar play you'd really want to be looking at today would be long on dollar Swiss when it comes to dollar strength. So sorry if I wasn't clear enough on that, but yeah, I showed the pound dollar trade because that's one I'm still in, and it was a play from yesterday. Hasn't really stopped me out yet, even though I did move my stop closer on it. It hasn't stopped me out yet. So it's consolidating right now, so there's no need. I'm not closing it right now. So I'm just kind of letting that one ebb and flow and see what it does. So I haven't given up on the pound, but I don't think it's the time right now to, if you're not already short, I think the long on dollar Swiss is the better technical signal. Seeing what's happening with euro and the Swiss, and it's a kind of the better scenario at this point, especially with the amount of support there was down here right below the 9600 level. You know, if you're looking for other opportunities, you know, if you're not short dollar Swiss yet, obviously another one here would be on the euro dollar. You could look for a break down below this double top pattern. Nice little uptrending move. Generally, the stronger the uptrend going is, you know, this is a reversal pattern. So generally, the stronger the trend is going into a reversal pattern, the stronger the reversal is once it triggers. So If you're already long, and you can see here this matches up well as it's been consolidating on this double top. You see the LP trend line has been making lower highs and lower lows. Came up to a high here, but still, it's still making lower highs, lower lows, signaling a bit of selling pressure there on the euro. So if you're not already long dollar Swiss, then short euro dollar would certainly be another opportunity that you could seek out if you wanted to look for a little bit more added confirmation. If euro dollar breaks down below that double top, all it's going to do is force our dollar Swiss trade further to the upside. Knock on wood. We don't know that for sure yet, but it's a possibility. Markets have just now opened here in the U.S. and true to the futures, you're not getting a huge amount of volatility. I mean, you got the Dow's down like 4, NASDAQ's down 2, so you're not getting a huge amount of volatility in stocks today. They're not really moving all that much. They're kind of right near that unchanged territory, so kind of carrying over from the global markets overnight, you're not seeing a huge amount of volatility in stocks. That's a nice it's a nice way to play it today, as far as at least we do have some consolidation conditions in the market right now, so we do have some potential for some trade opportunities here, unlike yesterday where by the time we had looked at the market things had already kind of moved. That's kind of an uncomfortable situation to be in when you already have things that have moved 100, 150 pips and you're kind of looking to jump into either momentum or retracement plays after the market's already moved. Today the market hasn't moved all that much, so we have a higher probability that if we are right on direction, that we have a higher what we call probability of profitability. Go ahead and pause the screen there and I'll save the trading sheet. For 2016. All right. All right. One quick announcement. Today's going to be a makeup day for me when it comes to the tutorials. Throughout the day, I have 3 tutorials that I need to redo based on some errors I made. I'm going to be doing those probably this afternoon, about 1 o'clock. I can send you I'll send you out a reminder for them. Most of them that you've already gone through, we're going to be doing. I got to go through and redo the trading basics, the money management, because I kind of screwed up the Adobe a little bit and screwed up the recording somehow. That had not gotten uploaded yet, and the currency characteristics. I'm going to be working on those throughout the day. When I do get those started, or when I'm about to, I'll give you a heads up and send you out a reminder. They won't be at 10:30 because I've got to work on making sure that I have the recordings properly done. So it'll probably be later on this afternoon, probably about 12:30, 1 o'clock. But don't worry, I'll give you a heads up when I do start those. Let me go ahead and I'll share the handout with you for today. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be going into we're going to be starting into some more of the advanced material. Let's see here. Where's my... My documents at? Thought I saved that. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I'm got a little sidetracked there because I'm trying to find the trading sheet for today. That kind of disappeared off the screen. Sorry about that. Yeah, my give me one more second here. For some reason, this thing is not. This has never happened before. Give me just one second. This is a little confusing. I don't know if Microsoft. I don't know what Microsoft did here, but for some reason, they gave me this weird little prompt here. It pulled up like Microsoft's website. Okay, there we go. Sorry, that's in PDF format, but that's the only one that I could see on that little Microsoft Drive thing that just popped up on my screen. So there's the handout. Sorry for the little delay there, folks. That was weird. That's PDF, but I can't see the Word document on there for some reason. So PDF is the only thing showing up. I don't know why that is. It's not the way I saved it, but that's all I have. So anywho, that is all I have today as far as trades go. Kind of checking things out here. Swiss is still above the trend line. I'm not too concerned on that just yet. Stocks are still just hovering unchanged. The pound, I'm risking 35 pips now on the pound. I'm not betting the farm on that one or anything. So I had already kind of given up hope on that when it was coming up to this swing high. So still just watching that hover, and that's one you shouldn't be in now to begin with. if you weren't already in it already. So we're still just going to look for dollar strength, look for those cross pairs, and then I'll send you out an update later on this afternoon when it comes to the tutorials. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm going to go ahead and log out here before I screw anything else up, and I will chat at everybody later. Thanks for coming in, everybody. Bye-bye.